Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the XoneBros, where our mixer is dying. There we go. We're back. This is like the last week of our mixer.
Hopefully.
We have a new mixer that we've just been so busy, we've not had chances to set it up, but it's a fancy one. Our voices will be coming through smoother than they've ever sounded before.
Smooth as silk.
Smooth as silk and wet like butter.
Yes.
I love butter, by the way.
Oh, butter's the best.
Yeah, butter. Anyone that's like, butter's unhealthy for you, screw you.
Is butter really unhealthy?
I think
though?
they actually found that it's not like butter and salt,
It changes
right?
like every couple years. I swear. Remember when eggs were not healthy and then they're healthy and then they're not healthy?
Yeah, that's why I'm just holding out on my Dr. Pepper. Eventually it'll flip and it'll be healthy again. Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper.
you're ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper cream soda, everybody.
Dr. Pepper cream soda is definitely healthy.
So good.
Right now.
So good right now. It is. Welcome back, everybody. It was a huge week. We had the extended Xbox Bethesda showcase. We had the Xbox Bethesda showcase, which we already talked about. Did anybody have a chance to tune into the extended one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. It was just meh.
Well, it's just a lot of talking. It was good. I mean, it's more information on game. Like, if you're not interested in the game, then
yeah, I
that
skipped some
section
games I wasn't
may not
interested
be
in
for you. But it's just a behind it, or it's more of a developer diary of the game. I
Yeah,
guess.
they went in and
So
we
it's
got
just
some
more
additional
details.
information on stuff for sure. The one that we got additional information on was Aura, that Civilization-like game, which, remember, Spicy, you made the joke, oh, maybe that was in-game footage. It kind of was, actually. When you see it, it's Civilization, but better. That's what it looks like. Civilization with a modern look, because you know how you have the hexagons and then your cities are enclosed in Civilization?
Mm-hmm.
In this, it's not. It's like if you were to combine Civilization and city skylines, and that's how it looks. So when you're going through and you're seeing the people walk around, that's actually what the game is like.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a bird's eye view of it, but that's what it's like, where it just expands and continues to expand. It looks very, very good. I'm very excited for Aura. I'm glad we were able to get some additional information for that and to see more what they're trying to do. And these are from the lead engineers of the Civilization series.
Yeah. Another one we didn't really talk about last week was Valheim to console.
That's right. Well, that
Yeah.
dropped. That's because that dropped during the extended release.
Yeah,
Valheim's
yeah.
coming to console,
Well, and
baby.
I think it said, like, remember at the very end when they flash all the games? I think it says Valheim, and I feel like I remember thinking, oh, interesting.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I think it did, like at the very end where it flashes all the names of the games.
And you were like, Valheim. We didn't
I think
talk about Valheim.
I think it says it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I
But
don't
no,
think.
yeah.
I don't think. It
I
did.
think it did.
I don't think it did.
I'll bet you a burger.
A burger.
Well, all you have to
Yeah.
all you have to do
The
is go.
challenge has been called, David. What is your response?
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have to
I
do
think
is
it was
go to
there.
our thumbnail of our last episode, and we use that image.
No,
And Valheim's
not
on
that
there.
image. At the very end when they flash every single game. I believe Valheim was on that list.
Whatever, bro.
Mark can look it up.
Is
Yeah.
that important? To
It's important to me.
So Valheim
But
is
it's
coming
coming
to
to console.
console in spring of next year, and it's coming to PC in fall. It will be on Game Pass. So if you've been
That's really cool. We'll
looking to
have
jump into that game, it's coming to Game Pass. How about a community server, everybody?
Yeah, we'll have to fire the server back.
You
up.
guys had your own server. I
We
think
did.
I think we dropped one for the
we
community.
literally just dropped it, I think, for
for
V-Rising.
For V-Rising, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still there. I mean, we can spin the wheels back up.
Spin them right back.
Got a solid state drive on that server.
Yes, we paid
For
an extra
fast-
$2
for
a
fast-
month.
So
Fast loading times.
the title of this episode is, has Xbox set the tone for this generation? And we asked this question in our last episode when we reviewed the Xbox Bethesda showcase. And we asked that question because did they do what they needed to do? After seeing the showcase, after seeing the extended showcase, I think they have. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. And I think the underrated announcement, the most underrated announcement of the show was the partnership with Riot Games.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason is because a lot of people don't realize this. That's a huge, huge, huge player base between all of their games. Runeterra, Legends of
Very
Runeterra,
large, yeah.
League of Legends, Valorant. And you get all of those characters unlocked now if you're on PC, if you subscribe to Game Pass. I have a buddy who, that's all he plays. He plays Teamfight Tactics and League of Legends. That is it. And I said, hey, did you see the partnership? No, I didn't see the partnership. Here's what it means. And he said, holy crap, that's huge.
Yeah, for
I'm
League.
buying the Game Pass just for that.
For League of
Just to
Legends.
unlock all the characters.
It's a lot of characters.
And that's exactly the point of it. Xbox does not care if you buy their Xbox. Xbox only cares if you subscribe to their Game Pass. And getting players into Game Pass on PC via the Riot Games announcement is absolutely huge. That's a great, great deal for players who love Riot Games.
Yeah. Well, and just think of the future. Riot's working on an MMO. Is that going to be on Game Pass? I mean, they have this partnership.
Well, and the thing that stood out to me on that partnership was that's not all. This is just the beginning, I believe, is what he said. And this is just the beginning.
Well, and I wonder, did
Merrill.
they say all future characters as well? Because you're not talking about just League of Legends characters. You're talking about Valorant characters. But yeah, did they say future characters as well, or is it just up to this point?
I don't know. I can't say.
I don't think
I
they
just said
mentioned
it.
it,
All
but
characters unlocked.
I would assume that would be.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would assume that would be.
Now, because of this announcement, I have jumped into Teamfight Tactics, which, if anybody in the community plays Teamfight Tactics, please help me.
Can you fix stupid?
No, well, that might be my problem.
I don't know if you can fix stupid.
The tutorial does a pretty good job, but by the time I get to like my 8th hero that's dropped, so for those of you that don't know what Teamfight Tactics is, it's an auto chess battler. And you basically drop these heroes. They have different abilities. You can combine them. You can complement them based on what characters you select. And every round you get to select an additional character to put on the board. And you go a few rounds, you fight NPCs, and then in the end, you fight 8 other players. And it's this giant battle that goes on, or 7 other, I don't know the amount of players. But by the time I get to like the 8th round and I'm selecting this character, I've lost track of what my character's abilities are, who I'm going for, what complements what. And so I asked a couple friends who I know are really into this, and they're like, yeah, dude, it's a learning curve. It's just a learning curve. But I'm very excited. I'm especially excited if these come to console. I think, like you guys said last week, MOBAs are made, that MOBA style genre just fits well on console.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need much. It's literally, I mean, how many keys are on a keyboard? And they only use like 6 of them.
And that's what the joystick takes care of 5.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't even need the mouse. I mean, you really wouldn't even have to revamp the store UI in League of Legends when you buy your gear and stuff, because it's just, you can just do it with the D-pad. Like, it's, I don't know. Valorant, I think all their games that are on PC right now would work for console, and I think it'd be really cool if they came to console, especially Valorant.
Yeah. Yeah, Valorant would be big.
Well, I think you've been wanting that for years. And
Well,
years.
I just want a good Counter-Strike style game on the console, and so far I've been mildly disappointed.
We've had tastes of it, but they have been
subpar.
The best one to do it has been Rogue Company, and I wouldn't say that is a true. It's not like Valorant or Counter-Strike. It's a little bit in the middle.
I would say that's
between
that's fair.
Counter-Strike and like a game like Overwatch, I guess. It's
well,
kind of in the middle.
Here's the thing: if Blizzard's not going to bring Hearthstone to console, which with Xbox purchasing them, that's probably inevitable. I have also been playing from Riot Games Legends of Runeterra, which is their Hearthstone
card game.
It's very good. I was telling Spicy about it this week. Spicy, I actually, as I was playing, I was like, I wonder what Spicy would think, because he's so into it. It does some things differently that I really, really like compared to Hearthstone. Mostly in the way that your turns work. You can't attack every turn. You can only attack every other turn. And on defense, your player, like, you get to choose
who takes the hits.
Who takes the hits.
Yeah.
And that's very nice. It's pretty refreshing. The other thing, they do a really good job. Everything on the screen is clickable, so they give you hints and tips and tricks, and then you can dive into the lore of each character, which this is League of Legends. There's a ton of lore with the characters there. Legends of Runeterra, very good. I've been playing on my iPad all week, prepping. If this comes to Xbox, I'm jumping in. I'm getting that. I'm 100%ing that.
Yeah.
But I do you guys agree with me? Do you think this is the sleeper announcement of the... I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but I really do think this is a big boy partnership.
No, I think it's big too. I mean, just look at League of Legends alone. That's a big game. I mean, what are their prize pools at their tournaments? They're huge.
I mean, we're getting a lot of toxic communities in this one.
And now we're going voice toxic.
Yes.
That's next level.
This is next. This is what Xbox Live is made for.
Yeah. Well, it's
Telling
yes.
me-
This is what Xbox Live is made for.
Yes, telling me what I need to do with myself.
Yeah, well, I remember when I first played Dota 2 because we were coming off a league, and Dota 2 had team chat, like actual team voice chat. And I remember the people I was playing with, it was a friend, and he was like, why would you add that to a MOBA? Like, that's a terrible idea. And it was. It gets
I
pretty
remember
intense.
the first time I jumped into League of Legends, I was like a child. And I thought, why is everyone picking on me? I'm just trying to play. But chat was just unloading. They just unload. And League of Legends, if you've never played it or any of those kind of games, the learning curve, it's like thousands of hours just to get capable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just to be okay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to the learning curve's pretty big. No, it's exciting because this is like MOBA chat is
Yeah.
like our little taste of 2006 Call of Duty. You know, with the chats.
That's true.
It's like the back then it was the Wild West of voice chat. You know, when you can, you're doing great when you get a voicemail on the Xbox Live.
Yeah, the 30-second.
the 30-second, voicemail.
Defenestrator agrees with you. League toxicity is on the level of Call of Duty circa 2009.
Yeah. Like it's like it is some good stuff. Like that's if you haven't had that in your life, you don't know what's
You're not living, baby.
That's our own little taste of how things used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Defenestrate. They hate noobs. It's true. You jump in and immediately like this
Well, I
noob,
think-
and you're like, what?
I think the game requires you to get to like level 10 before it even lets you play against. Like your teammates will be real players, but the AI will be the other side.
So I think going back to our question, has Xbox set the tone this week for this generation for the time being? I think that answer is yes. Spicy, what do you think? What did they accomplish? What they needed to accomplish this week with all of their announcements?
Well, like you said, their goal is Game Pass. That's been their strategy. We've been seeing that for years. Moves like this, they got Hideo Kojima. They did
That's another big one.
That's another big one.
Yeah.
They did some pretty
Persona series. Ooh.
Yeah, they did some pretty. I don't know if you'd call it under the hood because we know what they are, but they're tightening some screws here, tightening some bolts there. They're re-gearing the gears, to just make things just flow and just add power to their whole. This is an analogy, but to their whole makeup of their system and their ecosystem and all that stuff. They're making moves, and they've been making moves for a long time, and you can't argue that we are getting we are benefiting from this type of stuff.
Agreed.
The Game Pass with all the games that you have access to, AAA titles coming out that are day one Game Pass releases. It's good, very, very good for the gaming industry, in my opinion. And I think these are moves that other entities need to take notice, and they already have had to make some moves on their own, to keep up, because this is I really feel like Microsoft is a avalanche moving down the mountain, and they're just going to gain steam and keep gaining with all their stuff. I mean, they all the time I'm talking about just I mean, the pocketbook alone of just Microsoft buying, 68. We were like in awe at the 9.8 billion or 10 billion of Bethesda. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And then they just throw out, I don't know, under a year, I think, maybe.
A year and a half, maybe a year, maybe just over a year.
Yeah, just over a year. Then they're like, you know what? I bet you somebody at Microsoft is like, I don't want to lose StarCraft.
I think Mikey Barra was a plant
He was a plan.
to make it happen.
That should be.
And
a
then
movie.
when he got promoted
By Tom
promoted
Cruise.
to like the
Notice
Blizzard
the
CEO.
deal happened after he got promoted. After
That-
they're like, hey, we have some rumors. Mike, come here.
Yeah.
Mike, we've got some rumors. There's some shady stuff happening at Blizzard. I want you to go in, you expose it, and
Well-
we can work something out.
I mean,
We'll
Blizzard
get it for pennies on the dollar.
Blizzard was having some really tough I mean, they were doing some odd things, and
Well, and to be fair, they still are.
well, yeah, cause we know that because of, Diablo Immortal. Which, by the way, Jordan, I've been watching videos on that. They're pretty. The pay to win.
It's bad.
It's
like now that
sketchy.
now that a lot of us have gotten to, or a lot of people have gotten to end game to like really see the gems. And Blizzard's responses are hilarious because it's like there was one where they're like, no, you cannot buy gear to power up, and it's like, okay, that's technically true. But you buy gems that slot into your gear that make your gear more powerful. So it's like, yeah, okay, you technically can't buy a chess piece, but your chess piece is worthless without the gem that you can buy.
It would be like an erasing game. No. You can't buy a better car to win, but you can buy the engine to put in the car to win.
So, and that's why I'm skeptical about Diablo 4.
So I had a video pop up on my recommended, by the way. Speaking of this, and apparently the legendary gem that it's called, I don't know what it is, but it's
the legendary gem, and then you got 5 stars on top of that, so
you
it's like a double.
can't sell that. There's 2 versions of it that look exactly the same. They're both, the symbol of them is a purple face. One of them has a slightly different background, but they look exactly the same. You can't sell the only gems you can sell on the marketplace are the ones you pay for. It's called the Eternal, whatever it's called. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
So you can't. So there's some you can earn. You can earn like the legendary whatevers
that do nothing for you.
They're bound to your account. The only ones you can sell to other players is the ones you have to buy with your own money.
That is
But
hilarious.
they made, what's sketchy is they made the logos look the exact same.
So to fool you.
Yes.
Well, why else would it be so clear?
Is that not like, wow? And I like in chat, yo, Mikey, we need the stock to fall like 40% before we buy it. Yeah, totally.
Very good.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
the pay to win is pretty bad in that game, and even like on mobile standards,
Yeah,
it's like whoa, yeah, like because there's mobile standards and then there's like Diablo Immortal, like they went above and beyond.
There's mobile standards that we've all aren't too bad, so we accept them, and then there's Diablo Immortal.
All I'm saying is I'm glad that there is now a company swooping in and making sure that some of my favorite IPs don't get like buried.
Crushed.
Yeah, but see, that's why I'm still skeptical about Diablo 4. I think it looks great and it'll probably play great, but what's the store going to look like? They say it's going to be anchored around cosmetics, and what was the other tweet?
Well, do you think though? Okay, do you think this? Because remember, Diablo 4 wasn't on the map at all until Outrage. And then all of a sudden, oh, guys, hey, we do have Diablo 4. It's right here.
Yeah.
We're getting ready. Do you think Diablo 4 is just going to be Diablo Immortal skin? PC skin?
No, I think, I mean, I'm sure Blizzard has been working on this for a long time. They take their time with games.
I mean, do they?
Well, I mean, I think they used to.
It seems like now
Well,
they
I
take
guess
their
the
time.
the old team's out.
Yeah.
Seems
by
like
the way-
now they're taking their time making jewels and gems look like each other.
I saw that. Speaking of IPs that are, speaking of StarCraft, StarCraft. 2 of the old developers for StarCraft, I call them the Tims. I don't know their last names, but they left Blizzard a while ago. They started their own company. It's called like Giant Blizzard. No, it's not Giant Blizzard, but that would be funny.
It would be funny if
It's Giant Storm or something like that.
Snowstorm.
I
Instead
can't
of
remember.
Blizzard.
But they're making a AAA RTS game. So they're some of the minds behind.
I think I saw that.
StarCraft. I believe the game is called Stormgate.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Stormgate, which you have like the minds of what created StarCraft. Great. They left Blizzard, I think, when everybody else left Blizzard several years ago, and now they've started their own game company and everything, and they're doing a AAA RTS game, which I think is awesome because I feel like we need more AAA RTS games out there.
That's why I'm really excited, even though it's not an RTS, but the Aura game, I'm very excited
yeah.
for that. I'm excited to see a new take in a decades old genre that has just dominated. Let's see some evolution here. I'm really excited for it.
But see, StarCraft is another reason I'm skeptical about the new Diablo, because not just the story, but they say they're going to support it, with expansions and blah blah blah, all this stuff. They haven't done that with their last games.
Yeah,
like Diablo 3, we got Reaper of Souls, and then it's been just repeats of seasons afterwards. Nothing, right? Even Overwatch
Did we just get Necromancer?
But that's like
that was like 2 years ago. Yeah, and it was
I
anyway.
realized it was so long
and
ago.
then even World of Warcraft, it gets an expansion every once in a while, but between the expansions are usually like you finish really quick and there's nothing to do. StarCraft and Heroes of the Storm are basically non-existent anymore.
Yeah, they put like 5 people on Heroes of the Storm,
and
which
then,
is unfortunate 'cause I think
then
that's a great game.
I would even say Overwatch. Overwatch has been very lackluster the past little, and you could argue, oh well, they were working on Overwatch 2, and Overwatch 2 is the big update, and I guess there's an argument to be had there, but still, there's no. It's like they don't have a live team,
Well, they're all sexually harassing each other.
Well,
They
I
don't
guess
have
you're,
time.
yeah,
They don't
I guess
have
you're
time.
right. When you're busy
Their
stealing,
focus is definitely not on gaming.
when you're busy stealing breast milk from the fridge, I guess you can't really create new
Dude,
heroes in
some weird
Overwatch.
stories out
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
Okay, so
man.
back
It
to
really is. Think of the movies you could make.
that's like
You could have Mikey Barra is Tom Cruise. We could have Leonardo DiCaprio go in, as I don't know who Mike.
Who's your Overwatch guy? He could
Jeff
play-
Kaplan.
Who
Kaplan.
could play Jeff Kaplan? You could have this could be
Jeff Kaplan's the dude from Jurassic Park, the mathematician.
Yeah.
What's his name?
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
That would be quite the. You could make some. There is definitely drama at Blizzard.
Yeah.
You could make a whole series out of that. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Hanks would be a great one. Yeah, you could do some crazy things. But anyways, back to what was your question?
Xbox set the tone.
Yeah, for sure.
Jordan, you agree? Disagree? Where do you think?
No, I think it was a really good show. The only disappointment I have, and even after watching the extended version, is that just no Xbox big AAA game this year.
Yeah,
I still think that's kind of a bummer, but we did see the future of what's coming basically first half of next year, and that's a lot of big games.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I feel like a lot of those are just going to get delayed because of everything's getting delayed in this day and age.
Yeah, I think it's cool to be delayed.
Yeah, it's cool. It's now
It's like a cool thing.
It's
Like,
like showing up.
shoot.
It's like showing up late to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's delays. I think everyone has this weird relationship with delays because it's like you're okay with them, but you're not okay with them.
Yeah.
But you're okay with them because you don't want a Cyberpunk, you don't want a Master Chief Collection, you don't want a game that's broken because of how the possibilities of these games like Starfield blow my mind.
Well, I think we need to just get to a place of more conservative release dates.
Yeah, I do think
There's a balance. You don't want to be too conservative with your release date, and you got to hit some time frames. But for the last year at Microsoft, it has been way aggressive. I mean, Halo was supposed to release at launch, and look at where we're at. It wasn't even close to being ready. Clearly,
I mean, they made the mistake of announcing it and then 3 weeks later delaying it.
yeah, that was a big mistake.
Well, they made the mistake of announcing it, saying it's ready, and to watch the videos in 4K, and that everything's fine, and then they delayed it because obviously it.
And not to say it was early build footage until after the criticism,
Yeah.
and then to come out and say, "Oh wait, that was an early build footage."
Are games just being too?
Well, I think we're at a unique time in history too. We have to remember a lot of these teams went remote. That excuse is wearing thin now, but I think it's still we're still seeing the consequences.
Okay, I'm
going to
be the devil's advocate. I think that excuse is actually just an excuse to say we can delay it because a lot of these teams already work remote because they subcontract a lot of stuff out.
Well, no, but
like for example, Battlefield 2047, which is not a great example of a game the way it launched, but that was worked all over the world.
Well,
all
yeah,
remote,
but
you know what I mean?
normally there's a central studio, and they're handing off to
I
Central
wouldn't
Studios.
say, David, I wouldn't say normally. I think this industry especially predates COVID when it comes to working remotely.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they were working remotely in the way
In the
that they
capacity
were.
that
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
oh
doing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
And I'm just saying, I think it's more of an excuse, especially now, because I think they know how to work remote because they've been doing it for years.
yeah.
Even
There
even
is
even
something-
pre
So I
pandemic.
work remote, and I travel to the office once a month, once every other month, and there is something to be said about being in
Wearing
person.
pants to
Oh
work.
yeah, definitely.
There is a
No, I agree with
speed
that.
of collaboration. There's a speed at which things get done that really doesn't exist remotely because of the barriers put up for remote, just by the nature of, for instance, if there's a quick question or there's a quick thing that needs to be solved, in person it gets solved like that or answered like that. Remotely, it's much more of an official, I have to wait for this response from this person and this response from this person, and then I can do the X, Y, or Z. That doesn't exist. Collaboration in person is superior.
I think you're probably a good example because your company is international, and so you have to deal with some weird time zones too.
Correct. Yeah.
With all
Correct.
that stuff,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know.
But you still deliver content on time remotely. Just
But
saying.
we also do delay stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get to some questions that were in chat. Super Shocker actually dropped a super chat earlier when we were talking about debating, because you think Valheim was announced before they extended, and I don't think it was. Just for the record, Jordan is never wrong, says Super Shocker. When it comes to montages about future games, just saying, David, get your burger ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they flashed the title in the thing.
Thank you, Super
I'm
Shocker.
pretty sure they did.
For that super check. Yeah. Loyal Doyle actually made a comment, and he said about the MOBA genre, the League of Legends genre, he said...
He said you need the accuracy. I remember the comment.
Yeah, he
wanted
said
to talk about-
I disagree that it fits necessarily to a console really well.
See-
the mouse movement to be successful with MOBAs is just too fast for a controller.
But see, I'm going to counter that because I understand that. But if it's done correctly, like with a controller in mind, you can design the UI to have just as quick input. I would have said yes before. Maybe I would have agreed with you, but MOBAs especially, they are almost. I feel like you can do that with just as accurate and timing and everything with a controller. Let's take a case in point with Fortnite, for example. Before Fortnite, you'd have basically all pro games. You know, I would say the pro scene, esports scene, were done with a mouse and keyboard, regardless of any game, because of the accuracy and the keyboard and everything. We all. I mean, the mouse.
It was
is
universally
They're
accepted.
universally accepted. However, Fortnite came in and started giving controllers some of the
love.
I get. Yeah, the love that mappings and specific settings and specific abilities and stuff that a controller would provide. You started seeing controller players start to compete on the pro level with mouse and keyboard,
Winning.
winning tournaments.
Didn't some guy win with a cell phone?
I actually did not know that.
Yeah,
I
'cause
One with his cell phone.
Yeah, didn't that? Am I wrong? Didn't that happen? Because Fortnite's on the cell phone, or used to be, right?
And so what I'm trying to argue here is, if a developer gives the same care and
To a controller.
to a controller, correct? I mean, we give Blizzard a lot of hate, but what they did with Diablo 3 when they ported it over, they didn't just do it like a crappy port like they did with Diablo Immortal
to the PC.
yeah, with Immortal to the PC. They gave a new UI. They gave a whole bunch of stuff that made the game feel like it was made for that. If the developers give that same kind of care that Fortnite gave controller players, you're going to see MOBAs. It's going to be not a matter of necessity to play mouse and
It'll be
keyboard.
preference.
It'll be preference to play whether a controller or mouse. That's what I'm arguing. And if it's done right, I think MOBAs can be easily
And it benefits Riot.
played with a controller.
Yeah, and it benefits Riot games to do it correctly, because that's what you want. everywhere your player base plays to be competitive, because that's what will make you successful on every platform.
Well, and it's probably really just sensitivity issues, right? Or sensitivity.
Well, nah, it's
Well, because if you movement,
That's with Twitch
movement,
games.
I don't think is an issue, right? Movement, left stick. I assume he's talking more about skill shots, because that's pretty much all MOBAs are, is skill shots, and the accuracy of a mouse compared to the let's say the right stick with your abilities. I mean, I think you can be just as quick on a controller with a skill shot than you can a mouse with sensitivity options and such.
if done right, I feel like MOBAs can be taken very seriously with a controller.
Hey, can we? You mentioned the port from Immortal to the PC. What a terrible port!
Jordan, you're so negative today.
I know. I'm angry.
Did you try playing it on the PC then?
Well, no, I played it on the PC, and I remember my first week. I was saying like, hey, the ports, like, they did the bare minimum, which was literally nothing, and they put it on the PC. And the more every time I log in, it just makes me mad to see tap to play. Like, you could not
you
go
couldn't
in
even change the title
and say click
the
to
text?
play.
They basically
and no amount of remote work excuses that.
Yeah.
I mean, the
text guy dropped the ball.
Well, it does. The more I play it, the more frustrated I get with just the UI, because you can't just hit the escape to get out of a menu, and it's just, to me, it feels like just they don't care about their product.
So I think I'm an old man, because I did download while I was on the road Diablo Immortal to play on my phone, and my phone is too small. You need on an iPad, the screen's just too small. It works well. The input feels good. It's crisp. It's responsive.
What you need,
but it's so freaking small.
You got to go to Walgreens.
So I went iPad, and iPad was superior.
Oh, okay.
Superior, because that screen is huge.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you need to go get like Bubbles glasses.
Yeah, that's
at
exactly-
Walgreens. So you can
exactly
see.
what you need.
And see, what's really
It's definitely meant for children.
What's really disappointing about that game is the fact that it is really fun to play. Like, they really do capture a Diablo feel, but with the microtransactions and then the terrible port to PC, it holds it back from being great.
Let me ask you this: did you guys? So one thing
there's many more things holding that back from being great. I'll be honest with you.
One of the other
but when you just right click copy and paste onto your PC and then change from APK to EXE, that's like how I feel like that port went, right, Jordan?
No, there was no effort at all into that port. No effort at all. And I mentioned it. I mentioned it a few weeks ago when I first started playing. I'm thinking like, okay, well, whatever. We have it on the PC, so I'm happy for that. But the more I play it, the more I get frustrated. I'm having fun with the game, minus the fact when I get to endgame, I'll have to pay $100,000 to be competitive.
Did you know that, David? That's like...
That's funny.
The best is, the math, like, they came out with math. It's going to cost $150,000 to be have endgame finished or whatever.
What's the equivalent hours?
And then Blizzard came out. This is the best. Like, they're like, nah, 50,000.
Yeah, it was something. It was something like
it's not 150. You guys did your math wrong.
It was. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Blizzard or like a player defending Blizzard or something. But I remember I heard it. They said something about like, well, if you do it efficiently, it's only $50,000 or something like that. It was
guys, I don't know. I've seen all this 100,000 stuff over here. I just have to correct this. It's actually only 52,000. Okay. Let's not get crazy here.
Maybe it was Shroud. I think it might have been Shroud.
Come on, guys, be real. It's 50.
I think he saw that, and I think he was the one that was like, nah, I could probably do it efficiently for 50,000 or something. But it was.
That's funny. Okay, can we talk about Pete Hines was on the extended showcase where they did interviews with him talking about Starfield, and you think you want the game after watching the Bethesda Xbox showcase on Sunday, watching the interview with him, watching him talk about it, go into detail on their intent and stuff, how the game works and functions. I want that game so bad.
What are give me some like the TLDR of what was said.
TLDR, no approach is wrong. We wanted to give you a sandbox experience, and I quote, you could be someone that spends hundreds of hours the entire game just focused on your ship. You could be someone that spends hundreds of hours just focused on building up or mining, for instance. Like, you can play the game however you want. It's up to you. No approach is wrong.
Sounds a lot like Skyrim with a lot of the Fallout 4 systems.
That's basically,
because base
space.
building,
in space.
with 1,000 planets that are not
Handcra-
procedurally dread.
Handcrafted planets.
Yes, that's a big one.
Which they come
Which
out
actually-
because they actually never said either of that. They never said procedure and they never said handcrafted. I'm inserting handcrafted there and watch them come out and say, "Oh yeah, no, those are procedurally generated."
Well, I'm sure they have procedurally generated tools that help them create.
of course
these
they do.
planets.
Of course they
But
do.
I was actually funny story. It's a really good video. I was actually going to text it to you, or message it to you, David. A YouTube creator, ACG. He actually did a video on the their 1,000 planets compared to Elite Dangerous and the No Man's Sky and stuff like that. And he talked about procedurally generation and stuff. And he was anyway, what I got out of it is he talked about how it is very possible for them with multiple artists, multiple developers, and multiple years to create 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
Especially because he said, and they admitted this too, not all of them are going to be fully populated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some will be just mining planets. Some will, Todd Howard said it. Some will be,
You're gonna have your Coruscants and you're gonna have your Tatooines.
yeah, Goldilocks planets.
Your Tatooines.
And ACG even made the comment that they could. He says that I think they could even put quests on every planet. Will those quests be good? Probably not, but they could. You know what I mean? It's 1,000 planets compared to some of these other games because that's what they're being compared. That's what this game is being compared to. And he was basically having the argument that it shouldn't be because you're going up to billions of planets compared to 1,000, which is a much more realistic number.
Doable.
So it was a very good video.
Even if the planet is terraformed in
Sure.
a procedurally generated way, you just need a team to go in and make interesting things on very specific points of this planet,
Exactly.
and integrate that into the story or quests or anything like that.
And balance them.
Yeah.
They're all balanced. They all do something. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. Fitzy says, talking about Diablo 4, he says, no effort at all on the port, yet they will still make millions off it, I'm sure.
Well, that's why.
Oh, well, they already have. I mean, and that's why I'm a little more worried about Diablo 4 because who cares about the uproar when you're making money,
They
right?
just need 10 players to pay to win. Level up at 100,000. That's $1 million.
You need 10 whales,
You just need 10 whales.
and you're good.
And you're golden. It's the well approach.
Yeah, it's called well developing.
Well development. Well focus.
Wow.
Jacques says artisan organic planets. Amen. No MGOs.
Well,
GMOs. No GMOs.
no GMOs. Extra iron.
Extra iron.
Well, no, yeah, you're really. I mean, if they're developing it like they did Skyrim, I remember when Skyrim was being developed, there was a big deal on how it was. I got the impression that it was a huge team working very hard to make a very, very big game.
Yeah.
And this is that on crack. I mean, you're going to have teams with these planets go in and put Easter eggs here, stuff there. This is Bethesda, so they're very, very good at that.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have I played Skyrim? You don't have to answer this. This is rhetorical. And I still discover things that I never found in
Cool.
hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing the other games on multiple platforms.
So cool.
And there is still stuff undiscovered. Mm-hmm. Now we have that on, instead of, next to Whiterun, we are now on 1,000 planets.
Yeah.
Right?
We're in the Stellaris system or something.
Is Stellaris a system?
No,
I know that's
I
a
don't know.
game.
It's a game. I don't know.
I don't know if that was like
thinking of a word.
Orion's
That's the word.
Belt.
Orion's
I know that
Belt.
I remember that from Men in Black.
Let's get to some questions here. Well, actually, before we get to some questions, Jordan Man, tell us, there was some Final Fantasy VII remake news today. Happy about it? Are we finally going to get our Final Fantasy remake that we deserve on Xbox?
Probably not. I don't know. No one really knows.
No one knows at this point.
That's a great answer.
Back
to you, David.
It's kind of. So they had their Final Fantasy VII. I think it's the 25th anniversary. So they announced Final Fantasy VII remake coming to Steam, which is cool. They did announce Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake, which is coming to Xbox this winter.
Yeah, but no 7.
And then they even announced Part 2, which I think they called Rebirth or something. And it's not even going to be the finished Final Fantasy VII. We're going to have to wait for Part 3. Which is frustrating, but
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
But anyway, yeah, no, it's like they're purposely not telling. It's like, okay, look, if
You
you're
think
not
they're
gonna,
in the middle
if
of-
you're not going to give it to me, just tell me. Like, I'd rather know. Like now it's like it's the same thing with Final Fantasy 14. It's like you've never said it's not coming, and you refuse to say it is coming. Just tell me. Like I won't be mad.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like if you were dating someone and they've basically ignored you and broken up with you, but they won't actually officially break up with you. And you're just like, come on, man.
They're just avoiding you.
Yeah. And you're just like,
They just avoid your phone calls.
yeah. And you're just like, what's going on? Are we still doing this or not? You know?
Yeah, we need to have a define the relationship moment with Final Fantasy.
Yeah. And just say, hey, look, it's not coming to Xbox. Then I can say, okay, I can move on with my life.
Yeah. Final Fantasy.
Or say, we're working on it. It's going to come to Xbox.
They
And
need
then,
their DTR team to come out and tell us.
I won't be offended. I promise. I would like to know.
DTR team.
And what's really annoying is like,
We're inventing a lot of new things.
No, man. They should have a DTR team. That should be
I mean, that's
a thing.
basically, isn't that a marketing or
the
like
PR team,
public
really,
relations?
and then they're announcing it for Steam.
Do you think like billionaires have public relation or PR firms consult them on their relationship status?
Maybe.
Haven't you seen the movie Hitch? Isn't that with
that's
Will
true.
Smith?
I guess that's what he does, yeah.
He goes around and gets people laid.
Ironically, that the IRL Will Smith probably could have benefited from it. Instead, he made a grave mistake.
That's funny.
Yeah, a grave mistake.
That's actually really, really funny.
Yeah, so I would just like to know if and it's coming to Steam. So it's like, okay. Well, and they're giving us Crisis Core, so it's like, okay. You're giving us
I think
everything
that's-
around it, but not it.
I actually think that's what David was trying to allude to about Crisis Core coming out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, it's like,
That's the news.
that's it is.
yeah, it's just.
But then, and I like how David was like so happy. There's some new Final Fantasy. All right, let me tell you something, kids. When you live a life like mine,
Let's get to some
you realize
questions.
that life sucks.
Let's get to some questions.
I want Final Fantasy 14 right now.
to
Oh, well, no, I want to talk about Crisis Core because I don't know
Okay.
much about like.
okay.
would you like me to give you a.
I'll give you a TLDR of Crisis Core.
Okay.
It's not Final Fantasy VII remake.
I know
It's
that
the prequel.
it's the prequel because I never played this game.
So,
and- yeah,
if you remember in Final Fantasy, I believe he's in Final Fantasy VII through like flashbacks and stuff. A character named Zack Fair.
okay.
And I won't say too much because I can't remember which game it tells you in, so I don't want to ruin it for people. But there is a character, Zack Fair. He's mentioned. I'm pretty positive he's mentioned in Final Fantasy VII through Cloud's like flashbacks and stuff. But Crisis Core is about his story, and it's the events leading up to Final Fantasy VII. So it is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It originally came out on the PSP. I played it on the PSP. It is a really fun game. I would put it on the tier of 7. Like it's very good. Is it as good as 7? I mean,
Is it as big as 7 or is it a smaller game? Because 7 was huge. 7 was very large.
I would say it's a. I don't know. Is it as long as 7? And I don't. And with this remake, I don't know because maybe they'll add stuff in, right? Kind of like they did with 7 remake. But I would say will satisfy your gaming needs
Okay.
with time.
Well, because I know nothing about the story or anything. I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan.
Yeah, you'll enjoy this. It's the prequel. It's really.
Is
I
this-
enjoyed it.
I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but in the first or we're watching the trailer now. In the first scene, I swear that's Cloud's sword.
It is. It's the Buster Sword. You learn.
The origin of that sword.
That is
Okay.
a good way to put it without spoiling it.
Okay.
So,
I'm fascinated.
You learn about because there's something that happens, and I can't remember if it touches on it in 7 between Zack and Cloud. There's something that happens, and I know there's something at the very end of 7 that happens between, the very end of Crisis Core that happens between Zack and Cloud. I believe it's the end of Crisis. Anyway,
Can I ask you this?
But-
Is this a remake or is this? Like,
this is a full-on remake. Yeah, like that is not what the PSP looked like in 2000.
That's what I
Yeah.
figured. More questions. All right, Jordan, because you're my answerer guy.
There you go. Crisis Core was not as long as 7, so 7 was longer.
So
I played these games years ago.
it's the same team that's making this as the Final Fantasy VII remake, CD2 and CD3, correct?
I would assume it's Square Enix.
So my question, I'm leading somewhere with this. Why aren't they releasing CD2 and CD3 of?
Because they were making this.
That's
probably.
why?
I don't know.
Because that's frustrating.
So they
to
are
me.
releasing let's call it CD2, which is part 2. I think it's called Afterbirth or Rebirth or something like that, but that's next winter.
I would hope it would be called Rebirth.
Not Afterbirth. Yeah, sorry.
Afterbirth.
I don't know. I think it's Rebirth.
Oh, that is disgusting. Final Fantasy Afterbirth.
So yeah, there it is right there. I think it's Rebirth. So
man.
Matt Balsley,
Okay.
Matt Balsley asked, "Doesn't Cloud have amnesia in Final Fantasy VII?" Yes. Final Fantasy Crisis Core.
Oh, that is awesome. Okay.
Final Fantasy Crisis Core helps explain that.
So I'm kind of frustrated then, just that I can't finish Final Fantasy VII yet
Remake.
because, the remake, because apparently the team was working on this instead. I would have rather have had this after that whole series. CD2. I'm calling it CD2 and CD3 because that's what it was
in a perfect world, and they absolutely had to release it in parts, like they did. They could have just done, part 1, and then maybe 6 months later, part 2, and then maybe 6 months
That's
later.
what I was
part
expecting.
3. I think that's what we were all expecting, and then that never happened. They remastered the remaster for PlayStation 5 and PC, and it was like.
That's why it's called Afterbirth.
No. It was Final Fantasy VII Remake integrated or something like that, and it was like, well, you gave us just give us the second part. So
Okay, well, a lot of my questions got answered.
I am very excited for Crisis Core because I do think it's a good game. I probably played it. When did I get my PSP? Probably 2000. I don't know. I played it way long ago on the PSP. But if you're a fan of 7, I think you will enjoy Crisis Core because it goes through some events and gives you a little bit more character background on some characters that are in and mentioned in 7.
Cool.
So
this is the
it's a good prequel.
this is the
in
Better
my
Call
opinion.
Saul to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It's not as good, but it's there to connect the characters together more.
Yeah. There's some stuff.
Okay, all right.
And
cool.
it does add a lot to the story that may be confusing. But like Matt Balls, you said, Cloud has amnesia in FF7. This kind of explores that a little bit, I guess, would be the good. I just don't want to spoil anything because there's a lot in Crisis Core that would spoil 7.
That's fair.
There's a lot in 7 that would spoil 7.
I plan on playing this. Just I wanted to find out that the same team that's kind of frustrating.
Well, I'm sure they're the same department, just different guys, But it's, Final Fantasy is Square Enix, so overall they are the same team.
Sure.
All
right. David, I interrupted you
You're
because I
good.
wanted to end.
No,
Everybody's really liking this Afterbirth title.
I mean, it is.
I mean,
You came up with something here.
yeah.
If there's a Afterbirth crisis, a core crisis. Oh man, that's funny, and it's next gen graphics too, because we're on the new hardware with Afterbirth.
All right, let's take 2 questions before we head out of here. Our first one comes from the one and only Captain Obvious. To submit a question, you can do so every single week over on YouTube, youtube.com/XoneBros. Go to the community tab. We post a question up there every single week. Actually, before we get to the questions, my bad, I want to go over the poll. I did drop a poll on the community. Dropped it hard on their face. 1 second, and I wanted to review that because I thought it was interesting. Never mind. Oh, what did you think of the Xbox showcase? So it was loved it, hated it, it was okay. The loved it, this is quite a few people in our community voted here. Loved it, 48% loved it, 51% thought it was okay, only 1% hated it. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, see, and I think that it was like I get where people are coming from. The okay, but I think if they would have had a Xbox AAA for this year, I think that okay would have been a little bit less, and more people would have loved it. Like I understand they delayed Starfield, but if they would have threw in like Avowed this December,
Well,
you know
and
what I
that's
mean?
yeah, and
So,
that's
I think that's the disappointment of maybe a lot of people.
I agree with that 100%. And Captain Obvious actually asks, what game wasn't in the Xbox and Bethesda showcase that you guys were looking forward to? Avowed.
Yeah,
I,
Avowed.
I think a lot of people want to see what that's about. There's hype surrounding that.
Well, and what's the girl that stares
Senua's
at you?
Sacrifice.
Senua's Sacrifice. Yeah, that game I was
Yeah.
expecting too, and that
Yeah,
was
Didn't
There's
see
none of
any
that.
at all.
So
True.
we know that those aren't coming in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, next year, right? Next fall,
Yeah.
winter.
Sailor Mercury in
Hopefully.
chat says the showcase was a solid B for me. Biggest issue was no title to replace Starfield this holiday, but loved Persona Trilogy and Starfield gameplay.
Yeah, Persona's going to be fun. I think I'm going to jump right into Persona 5.
Yeah.
I mean, should I do 3 and 4? I don't know. I'll probably jump right into 5.
I wish I had time to play 300-hour games, but just to check them off the list right before something. Yeah.
Great question. Thank you, Captain Obvious, for writing. Let's go to Blake Densley. He is really into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
Shredder's Revenge, which
came
I
out.
have been messaged by multiple players, and I've watched people are really liking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we're going to have to jump in and play it. But he says, I want to know what your favorite couch co-op memory is. Do you have a desire to actually couch co-op anymore or just be online multiplayer?
I have so many couch co-op memories.
Do I have the desire to do it now?
It depends.
No.
For me, it depends. There is a convenience to online that cannot be beat.
No, but when you're getting together with friends, it's not about convenience. It's about sharing the
Well,
moments.
but
you
I
know?
wanna-
having
I-
pizza, having
Yeah.
drinks.
But I
hanging
wanna-
out.
I get that, but I'm not as young as I once was.
Well,
I'd
no,
rather
no.
just sit in my comfy chair, just have to text you guys.
Well, here's
you
my
know.
problem. Here's my problem.
The prices of gas are really hurting.
Here is my
You're
problem.
a block away.
No, here's my problem. So I've got a 65-inch, very nice LG television, and I'm playing Lego Star Wars with my children, and I play multiplayer. I would rather have my own screen. Even on a big TV, I cannot. The split screen pulls you out of immersion. That's my issue. So I'll be couch co-op as long as we get our own
But see,
screen.
I'm going to argue that games that allow couch co-op were never really meant for immersion. They were meant to just have a good time with friends.
Yeah, like party games.
Yeah.
Party games is an example.
Mario Kart is a great example.
A good game would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well,
I'm not-
but the
I'm not
thing with
carrying-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you're on one same screen. I like that.
well, and that's how, that's couch. Some of my favorite, let's talk about the question. I love Turtles in Time, one of my favorite games I've played in my entire life. I love that game. That is one screen. That is it. It was.
Pause here. Sorry. Scorn could have been renamed Afterbirth.
It could have, yeah.
Oh, you're watching the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for.
Sorry. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I think couch co-op games are not about understanding a story and getting immersed in something special. It's about hanging out with your friends, having a good time. I think both have a place.
No,
and
I-
I don't think they generally are meant to cross.
I
over.
agree. Okay. Let me rephrase it from saying immersion. I don't enjoy the split screen as much as I enjoy being on one screen. So the best couch co-ops are couch co-ops where you're all on one screen.
Sure.
The virtual couch.
The Smash Brothers, for instance.
Oh, yeah, Smash.
Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like you said.
Or my first couch co-op game I ever played, Joust. On the Atari 2600, I think it was. That one, that was one screen. The majority of couch co-op games that I have played, besides Halo, were single screen.
And 007.
Well,
And
Halo,
007, that was the quad.
Yeah.
I mean, couch co-op and LAN parties kind of go hand in hand, but Halo basically popularized it.
You see,
Well, no.
Halo-
Nowadays, you don't see kids carrying their TVs from
To their
street to
friend's
street.
house
You
on
know,
their- in their-
Halo was something special for sure.
No, I-
Having multiple TVs back to back so you're not screen peeking. Yeah, for sure.
I have had a lot of good memories with couch co-op and LAN parties like Halo, but I think at the point in my life right now, I'm not against.
You hate people.
No.
Just say it.
I'm not against couch co-op. I think it's cool when they bring it to like Diablo and stuff. I play couch co-op with my son, but sometimes for me, it's just nice to sit down in the nice chair, text you guys, and say, "Hey, yeah, party's open if you want to jump in."
And And LAN parties were not couch co-op. That was couch PvP.
Okay, well, yeah.
And we're talking couch co-op, right?
Yeah, I like couch co-op on my own screen.
And GoldenEye was not couch co-op. That was couch PvP. Unless you played Perfect Dark.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a very different
that's fine.
thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate what the virtual couch has been able to do for me.
Has brought to my life.
That and
Well, no,
DoorDash.
I'm going to be honest. It's actually just like Magic the Gathering. Perfect example. Magic the Gathering, I still love that game. I have all the cards. I'd like to play if anybody wants to play. But when Hearthstone came out, it was like, oh, I could just sit here at my desk and do it. You know, instead of every Friday night going down to the shop. Which, yes, there's still a place for that, and it's still fun.
But see,
But playing Hearthstone on,
That's
just,
what I'm talking
it was
about.
just, it was there was a lot of niceties to that.
But the going down to
You
the
like
to the shop.
convenience.
Going down to the shop, it's not necessarily about the game, it's about the interaction with friends.
Yes. Yes,
It's
that is
like-
true. That is true.
It's like going.
That's what
I agree
that's
with
what
that,
I'm
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I agree with that.
So did I win the argument here?
No. Okay. Well,
Fair. What was the question? Oh, some memories?
yeah, favorite memories. I mean, I have lots of favorite memories, but now I agree with Jordan. I do prefer the online play in 2022. There's a convenience to it. Star Wars is held back, Lego, by not giving me that option. Because I would love to play that game with you.
Yeah,
guys.
I wish I could play it with you guys. I do. But Lego games have never had online, which come on guys, let's get into
Well,
it.
but they also took away on this one the merging of when you're close together, your screen goes away and then it splits apart.
It's in the I think it's in the settings.
Do I have to go into
Yeah.
settings to
It's
do
called
that?
dynamic.
Yeah, that
something.
one makes me sick.
Dynamic.
Oh, I
Because,
like- I
your
actually like it.
My kids are running around and you're like, holy crap, just stand there.
So here's the deal:
The
the
screen
only
is
couch
twisting.
co-op you guys have interaction with are with your children, correct?
Well, now, because that's like my life. I have to go to work, I have to come
imagine-
home, and then I have to...
Imagine if you just had a room dedicated with pizza, drinks, and I
Well,
believe you guys would change your mind.
And we still do
Like the
every
old
now
days.
and then. Like, remember
Yeah.
when we had that LAN party?
Yeah, that was
That
fun.
David said he didn't want to come to?
yeah, David's stupid.
Well, what game was it?
It was a plethora of games.
Yeah,
I think it
I
was-
actually bought everybody games to just try out.
It was a
some co-op.
PC LAN party.
Yeah.
I didn't want to I didn't want to disconnect my PC and haul it over.
No, and see, and
What am I?
and
What am I on a monster? What are
Yeah.
we? What uncivilized?
We're not
And
inviting
again-
him next time.
How are we
and
living
again,
in?
all of that is really fun. But it is just really nice to just say, hey, Mark, David, you want to just jump into a round of Diablo Resurrected for a couple hours?
Afterbirth, Diablo Afterbirth.
Diablo.
I'll probably still say no, but I'll consider it. All right. Well, great question, Blake. Thank you very much for writing in. That's a fantastic question. Everybody, I think that does us for this week. It's been a good week. A good week for Xbox, a good week for gaming. Very excited. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. If you have not yet, please head over to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to us. Rate us with 5 stars. Even if you hate us, leave us the angriest review.
but
Just
pref-
give us the 5 stars, and you can call us whatever name you want to call us. Come over to YouTube and subscribe to us here.
Give us a great review, but your words can be terrible.
Your words can be filled with hate and animosity as long as you give us that 5 star. That's all we want. That's all we need. No, thank you. It's fun. It's fun to hang out. We'll see you guys next week. On the flip side, Defenestrator, thank you for the super chat. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.